Focus on today, not tomorrow. A motivational story. In the rolling emerald hills of a distant valley lived a farmer named Silas. Silas was a man of great intellect and even greater ambition. He didn't just want to grow crops, he wanted to own the most magnificent estate in the province. He spent his evenings drawing elaborate maps of orchards he would plant, and designing grand granaries he would one day build. However, there was a peculiar stillness in Silas's fields. While his neighbors' lands buzzed with the sound of scythes and the lowing of cattle, Silas's farm was often silent, save for the sound of the wind whistling through the tall, dry grass. One Tuesday morning, the sun rose in a perfect golden hue, the ideal temperature for sowing wheat. Silas walked to his shed and laid his hand on the plow, but as he looked at the vast expanse of earth, his mind began to race ahead. If I plant the wheat today, he reasoned, I will have to harvest it in 4 months. But what if the market prices drop by then? Perhaps I should wait until I hear the merchants' projections for the autumn. Besides, if I start today, I won't have the energy to repair the roof of the barn next week. I'll wait for a day when I feel more balanced. Silas spent that day sitting under a willow tree, sketching a design for a new pulley system he intended to install next year. He felt productive because he was planning. But his soil remained untouched. Across the dirt road lived Martha. Martha was older than Silas and moved with a slight limp. She didn't have Silas's grand maps or his complex theories on crop rotation. Each morning Martha would step onto her porch, look at the sun, and ask herself one question. What is the one thing I can finish before noon? On Monday, she mended a single meter of her stone wall. On Tuesday, she planted just 3 rows of carrots. On Wednesday, she cleared a small patch of brambles by the well. To Silas, Martha's work seemed insignificant. She has no vision, he would mutter to himself. She's just picking at the dirt while I am planning an empire. Months passed. A sudden, unexpected storm front moved into the valley, followed by an early frost. The village elders warned that any crops not already established would surely perish. Silas panicked. He rushed to his fields, realizing he hadn't planted a single seed. He tried to do a month's worth of work in a single afternoon. He plowed until his hands bled and tossed seeds into the wind. But the ground was already hardening. He was exhausted, overwhelmed, and far too late. The perfect moment he had been waiting for had been buried under months of procrastination. When the frost cleared, Silas looked across the road. Martha's farm was a modest but beautiful sight. Her stone wall held firm against the wind. Her 3 rows of carrots had grown deep enough to survive the cold. She had food in her cellar, and wood stacked for the winter. Silas visited Martha that evening, humbled and hungry. How did you do it? He asked. You don't have my strength or my plans. How is your farm thriving while mine is a wasteland? Martha smiled kindly, and handed him a bowl of warm soup made from her carrots. Silas, she said, you were trying to finish a marathon before you took the first step. You were so worried about the harvest of tomorrow that you neglected the seeds of today. A field isn't grown in a perfect week in the future. It is grown in the messy, imperfect minutes of right now. Silas realized then that procrastination often hides behind the mask of planning. He vowed that from that day forward he would stop looking at the horizon and start looking at the soil beneath his boots. The moral of the story: the bridge between a dream and reality is built with the bricks of today. Do not let the vastness of your goals paralyze your present actions. Small, imperfect steps taken now are infinitely more powerful than the grandest plans intended for tomorrow. If you like my story, please like, share and subscribe my channel, and stay tuned for more motivational stories. Thanks for watching.